Yes, the closer we get to each other, the more we'll be able to learn from each other. What are those techniques of deepening, of lightening ourselves, of leaving the mortal and material and moving into our higher self? So let's ask Reverend Shana Lynngood to add something to this. Shana grew up near Philadelphia, and she came in 2010 to serve as co-minister of the First Unitarian Church of Victoria with her spouse, the Reverend Melora Lynngood. She's committed to helping people find meaning and beauty in life. Okay, Shana.
Meaning and beauty, that sounds like a really good place to start, doesn't it? I want to start, though, actually by saying I want to follow up on what Gita said. I'm really pleased to be here today. I felt like, as I was preparing for this week, I thought, interfaith harmony, this is a really good thing. And then this week came. And I thought, interfaith harmony. I'm going to be exactly where I need to be on Sunday afternoon, talking about interfaith harmony. And I was thinking about a panel of people that I was a part of a few months ago, probably close to a year ago now, at St. Michael's University School. And it was a panel with a bunch of high school students. And we were supposed to be talking about the importance and the value of diversity, and why we thought it was such an important thing for young people today to be exploring and intentionally lifting up diversity as a value, something that they wanted to explore. And one of the panelists in the room sat up and said, sitting next to me, she said, one of the problems in our world right now is that we're really good at fearing each other. And often, she said, fear then leads to anger. We're afraid of somebody, and then we get angry at them. I don't know why, because we're afraid of them. It's not really their fault, but we seem to get angry. And she said, and then that anger becomes hatred. And she said, one thing I've noticed is that the more afraid a mind is, the more it tries to simplify things. And I sat next to her and I thought, what do I have to say? Because I look around at our world right now, and we are being taught fear after fear after fear after fear. We're supposed to look around a room of people and see everybody as a potential threat. And the more I'm not like you, the more I'm supposed to fear you. And apparently then I'm supposed to get angry. And then I'm supposed to blame everything about who you are for anything that's not working in my own life. Whew. And this week came around and I thought, haven't we learned anything? If we haven't learned in human history that blaming an entire group of people for something that never goes well. Does that ever go well? I mean, you look at the Holocaust, you look at residential schools, you look at human history is littered with us teaching ourselves and others that a whole group of people is to blame. And I'm tired of it. Are you tired of it? Yeah. And so now I'm supposed to tell you what it is that Unitarian Universalism gives me as a tool, is a gift of my faith tradition that helps me face this fear and say, no, I don't want to fear other people. In fact, I want to love them. And I want to see them as complex and interesting and fascinating. I don't want to simplify them. I don't want to vilify them. I don't want to turn them into stereotypes. And what Unitarian Universalism gave me, I'm one of the 10% of people who are currently Unitarian Universalists who actually grew up in the faith tradition. So I'm one of the few. And I grew up in this tradition, and when I was in middle school, my congregation, kind of similar, it sounds like, to Gita's experience, has a whole curriculum called Neighboring Faiths. And actually, when I was a kid, they called it Church Across the Street. And then they realized there are a lot more than churches across the street. There are mosques, and there are temples, and there are synagogues, and so it's actually neighboring faiths that we need to learn about. And they took me as a young person to all of these different worshiping communities. And they invited me to meet, not just to go like a tourist and go, oh, that's all really great, look at what they eat, look what they do, they stand up, they sit down. But to come and to talk to people who worship there and say, how does this experience give your life meaning? What does being a person of this faith tradition, how does it help you through a really hard day? How does it help you make sense of the world and make sense of what it means to be alive and be human? Because that's part of why I got into ministry and why I got into religion. I was really interested in how people made sense of the world and why and how. And so my faith tradition gave me this great gift, which was to essentially say to me as a young person, not only did they say, you shouldn't fear these other traditions, they said, you should be really interested in these other traditions. And if one of these other traditions actually fits you better, you could go become a part of one of these traditions. And these traditions have wisdom, have history, have beauty, and are vibrantly alive right now in people in your neighborhood, in your community. Respect that. So that's one gift that my tradition gave me. The second gift that my tradition gave me that I think is really important is that my tradition never said, we're right and everybody else is wrong. My tradition never said, we have the corner on the market of truth. We've figured it all out and everybody else is kind of misguided. My tradition said, all of these people from all of these places in the world whose traditions included people who figured out beautiful things about being alive and being human, and who also have made mistakes along the way, as all of our traditions have, they all have something to show and to share with you about what life as a whole, and without those perspectives, you only have a partial view of the truth. Only a partial view. So that's the second thing. And my final thing that my tradition, I feel, gave to me as a gift was a deep and abiding respect for every single individual person. The first tenet of our belief system is respect for the inherent worth and dignity of every single person. And what that means to me, is really key to me right now, is both that dignity and worth is inherent. Every single person had it from the get-go and it can't be taken away. And it's not up to me to decide whether they deserve it or not. They got it. And secondly, that every single person has it. Even the people that it's so hard for me to see it in. And so my tradition teaches me that I have to work continually, every day, every moment of every day, to see that worth in every single person.